The other data co-chair is John Constable, the President of Industrial Innovations and Solutions in New York State and City Certified MBE. IIS specializes in advanced engineering and cost-effective upgrades to enhance reliability and performance, integrate renewable energy, and solve complex energy challenges. John.
Good morning, everyone. As Westchester energy landscape, it's challenging to face the New York ambitious climate goals. I'm committed to accelerating clean energy adoption and ensuring a sustainable, affordable, and reliable energy future for our community. Next 5 minutes, we'll examine where we stand today and where we are falling short and what's practical action that we can take. So the next 5 years are critical for New York State, because we have set goals of generating 70% of our electricity from renewable sources by 2030, while reducing greenhouse gases by 40% compared to our 1990 levels. To put this into perspective, that means dramatically increasing solar, wind, and energy storage while cutting millions of metric tons of CO2. The challenge is not just achieving these targets, but doing so in a way that maintains the grid reliability and affordability. The ideal path forward is, we have three key actions, right? First is greening the grid, expanding renewable energy generation, especially offshore wind, large-scale solar. Second is we must electrify everything, from heating, transportation, and industrial process. A third is the speed at which we do it, right? Ensuring that infrastructure and regulatory policies keep pace with these changes. Without all three working together, we risk missing our target. How are we doing, right? So New York State, unfortunately, we're not moving fast enough. Energy use is rising, particularly in building and the transportation industry, which accounts for about 60% of Westchester total emissions. Since the pandemic, emissions has increased to 8%, reversing every year. Although the New York State solar capacity is growing at a 20% per year, we need to at least, be twice the rate demand to meet that. As we progressed into 2030, right, with a breakdown, we see significant gaps in New York. It's 74% short of emissions reductions. We are also 79% short of our offshore wind and 85% short of the energy storage. Without sufficient energy storage, renewable energy remains intermittent, marking grid reliability as a major concern. I know there's a song, there's a bright spot here, right? We are only 24% of our renewable generation target, meaning progress is being made. Additionally, distributed solar is also a success story. Westchester as a whole right now is about, its demand is 2 to 4% higher than the expected, previous from the pandemic. This trend is concerning because it's more means that the grid and the infrastructure and also higher emissions. If we don't reverse this trajectory, meeting our climate goals, it will become more difficult for us to achieve our electrification and our 70%, our 2030 goals. Looking at our electric consumption, right? Westchester total electric consumption is 5,800 gigawatts an hour per year. When broken down by sector, residential and commercial buildings are the largest users of this energy source. But transportation is the fastest growing segment, as AI and high performance computing, as we know in this age right now, right, is happening, is one of the highest power demands. And that's because we need, these systems, a higher draw on electrification use, and that requires more energy. So looking at solar capacity, currently Westchester has installed approximately 260 megawatts of solar capacity, which generates about 325 gigawatts of power annually. However, new solar installations has declined. The number of projects completed each year has dropped since 2023, and the total installed capacity is down from 2022. We need to reverse this trend, and through incentives and streamline, permitting. So, the closure of Indian Point, right, nuclear facility, which is approximately 2,000 megawatts of power, of generating capacity to the grid. To replace this, we need a mix of renewable and energy storage and, on the demand side, and also energy management. Westchester currently, solar capacity, as I said, is 260 megawatts, which is nowhere close, near enough to even come close to anywhere replacing this loss. Storage will be key, ensuring that we can use solar energy even when the sun isn't shining, right? What can we do today? Immediate action is required. Energy efficiency upgrades, right? Demand responses and electrification of heating and technologies like geothermal and heat pumps. We must also rapidly expand our EV charging infrastructure and battery energy storage to support increase in renewable adoption. So, in the short term, bridge fuels like propane, right, can be used to help reduce emissions. And what I mean by this, propane can be used, it has, for power generation, for homes, in the event that your solar energy or other electrification sources go down, right? This is emissions, also produces fewer emissions with diesel and oil, and can serve as a reliable backup source for the microgrids. This is especially critical as we scale up renewables and improve our grid reliability. In short, renewable is another immediate solution in terms of Westchester County. We have over 100,000 trucks coming in, diesel use, 100,000 heating homes, right, emitting approximately about 1 million CO2 pounds of emissions a year, right? And the good news is that renewable diesels can be used to help us in terms of reducing the amount of diesel use of the trucks coming into Westchester. As an engineer and founder of Industrial Innovations, we're focused on energy solutions that enhance energy efficiency and reliability. My involvement with the Clean Energy Action Coalition is driven by a commitment to accelerating clean energy, reducing carbon emissions, and ensuring an energy affordable that's for all. Looking ahead, I want CEAC to play a leading role in pushing for stronger collaboration among stakeholders, advocating for policies that drive meaningful change and ensuring that Westchester remain at the forefront of clean energy innovation. Thank you.